Hi everybody, and welcome to our webinar of All You Need to Know If You've Appointed an ECT. My name is Emma Dobson and I'm the Director of Exceed Institute, and I also lead the Early Career Teacher Programme for Exceed Teaching School Hub. We're hoping that this webinar is going to be really informative for you because the landscape has significantly changed in terms of the induction process for what would have been old NQTs for now our ECTs. And to iron out any confusion or misconceptions, we have got a series of videos to talk through with you around exactly what you need to do, need to know, must do's, must reads, etc. So delighted to have our senior leaders here today with us that are going to form a panel that are going to discuss and ask and answer questions for us. So can I please introduce first of all, Steph, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Ngenda. I'm the head of school at Copthorne Primary, and I've also been...
Excellent, thank you. And Alex?
My name's Alex Dean. I'm Senior Deputy Head Teacher at Bingley Grammar School. I'm also Induction Tutor for our school.
Thank you. Davina?
Hi, I'm Davina Silva. I teach English at Skipton Girls High School, where I'm the curriculum leader for English, and I'm a mentor for the ECT programme.
And last but not least, Chris.
Hello, I'm Chris Lloyd, Head of School at Hollybrook Primary School. We have a new ECT starting this year, so I'm very excited to hear all the information and to steal ideas from everybody else, if possible.
Excellent. And we also have Tess with us from Bradford for Teaching. Do you want to give us a wave, Tess?
Hello.
Tess is going to be smoothly transitioning the videos for us. As I said, we've taken a slightly different approach to this webinar today in terms of communicating key messages to you. We've created a series of videos through the voice of children to give you all you need to know if you have appointed an ECT. So we're going to start first of all with the first video, which explains what the Early Career Framework is.
The Early Career Framework is an evidence-based framework that sets out what all early career teachers should learn about when they start teaching. It is designed to improve and develop teaching knowledge, skills and working habits. If you have employed an ECT, you need to do 3 things. Set up an early career framework-based training. Appoint an appropriate body. Exceed Teaching Schools Hub provides this service. Provide an ECT with their statutory entitlement. This includes a reduced timetable in their first 2 years of teaching.
An essential read is the DFE statutory guidance on ECT induction.
So that first video gives us a real snapshot of what the Early Career Framework is. Quite shocking really, isn't it, in terms of the retention rates? I'd be interested to know what our panelists feel about that, or if you've, I don't know, has that been your experience in your settings? And obviously it is the national picture, so it'd be good to hear from some of you.
So I would say at Copthorne that it is a staggering figure. You know, it's really quite scary. We haven't felt it this year at Copthorne, but I think, you know, sharing that figure with everybody just highlights the importance of really investing in our early career teachers to make sure that we have got that stable workforce and teachers continue their journey in the profession with us.
No, yeah, I completely agree, because this aims to sort of, you know, it's part of the recruitment and retention strategy and to really mitigate against that significant dropout that we have been seeing over previous years. So in terms of the ECF-based training, with the 3 things we were told there that we need to do. So you were school leaders, those 3 things that you were very, very clearly told about. Do you have any questions around them? Are you sure what the early career based training programme is? And how that's different to the appropriate body as well?
I think it's super important for schools to kind of have a really clear understanding of the process, because as it said in the video that we've just watched, there are a couple of decisions that schools have to make, aren't they? And certainly around the appointing of an appropriate body, that is something which is quite easy to miss when you're registering your ECTs.
And we certainly have seen that, Alex. That's a really good point. We've seen that in this current year, that people have just registered on the DFE portal for the early career teacher programme and not the appropriate body. And actually the appropriate body is key in terms of making sure that you have your ECF based training in place. So would you say that, say for example, Chris, because I know that you've appointed ECTs this year, are you quite clear that you have to appoint appropriate body independently and separately?
I wasn't aware until we've just seen it there. So how do we go about doing our appropriate body? Which websites do I go to follow that through? Do you know?
I do know, but I've got colleagues in the room that have actually gone through that process, I'm sure. So it'd be nice to hear from first-hand experience.
Yeah. So the ECF based training, the first part, is done on the DFE portal. But you need to go on to ECT Manager to allocate to choose an appropriate body.
Thank you.
That's great. And then I think just to touch on the third thing, which Davina might be able to have, so I might be able to contribute or have some thoughts on here, is the entitlement. So the three things is to ensure your ECT has their entitlement, which is actually very significantly different to what's happened in previous years. I don't know, do you have any comments around that, Davina?
Yeah, I do. I think obviously it's a staggering statistic, and it shows it's a much needed package of support for ECTs, which is so vital. And I think like the induction lead at our school at Skipton Girls High School has just been so amazing in making sure that the programme's embedded in the whole school culture. And it's so vital for the ECT to have that timetable reduction, and also ideally for the mentor to have time also, as it's a funded programme, to carry out the really important role with the ECT.
That's perfect. And we'll come on to that a little bit later, actually. But I think the key thing there is that the reduction in timetable, which has happened in old sort of NQT years, but now it's over 2 years. So the induction is 2 years with a reduced timetable, equally in the second year as well. But we'll come on to that a little bit later. Okay, so I think we're going to look now around ECF-based training, which is the early career teacher programme. So once you've appointed your appropriate body, you are then through the DFE portal selecting your early career based training programme. So we're going to look at what the three options for schools are. So
to set up ECF-based training, schools have 3 options.
Use a DFE funding provider. This is ready-made ECT and mentor development program and comes with maximum DFE funding.
Use DFE accredited material to deliver your own program. This comes with reduced DFE funding and fidelity checks from the appropriate body.
Design and deliver your own ECF-based program. This provides minimum DFE funding.
Okay, so we have 3 options for schools to choose from. So there's the DFE fully funded, the accredited materials, or design and deliver your own. So it'd be really nice to hear from our panelists. What options have you chosen, and what is your understanding of the 3 options available to you?
Well, at Copthorne, we went with option 1. So a ready-made DFE package of support. As it said in the video, it comes with maximum funding. And there was also the concern around some of the fidelity checks as well. So knowing that, what we would be delivering or what ECTs would be exposed to is already quality assured.
That's excellent. Alex, what about you in terms of your setting?
Yeah, we were the same. We've got 8 ECTs with us this year, so we've got a considerable cohort. For me, like Stephanie said, I was quite worried about the fidelity checks, and I'd rather that was somebody else's problem, if I'm going to be honest. So for me, it was a no-brainer, to kind of go with the DFE approved provider, knowing that that's something I then didn't have to worry about.
Okay, that's great. And how about you, Chris? Because you're about to appoint or have appointed an ECT. What are your thoughts on the 3 options available to you?
I think the most sensible way to go about it is option 1, as we've just discussed, fully funded, and the training is all certified. So like Alex and Steph have said there, that seems the most sensible option.
Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to move on to now is going to look at, you've appointed your ECT. How do you set up induction? So what are the important steps that you have to do in terms of registering them with the DFE portal?
set up your early career teachers induction, you must nominate an induction tutor to be a point of contact with the DFE portal. They are given access to the DFE managed training for early career teachers service. Follow the DFE step-by-step guide to set up your school's ECF-based training program. Tell the DFE if you think you are likely to appoint an ECT. Choose or change your school's induction tutor. Choose how to run your ECF-based training program from the 3 options we shared earlier. If you choose to use a DFE-funded provider, you can do this via Exceed Teaching School Hub. All you need to do is select Use a DFE-funded provider. Then select Ambition Institute as your training provider. Then Exceed Teaching School Hub as your delivery partner. The other option is to select the DFE accredited materials you will use to run the program.
Register ECTs and their mentors. Tell the DFE each person's full name and their email address. Begin your school's training program. This can be at any point in the academic year.
Okay, so setting up induction via the DFE portal. It'd be really nice to hear from colleagues here today if you've actually gone through that process and how straightforward it was, because there are 6 very clear steps as outlined in the video there.
Yes, am I okay to start?
Go for it, Alex, perfect.
I think the first thing is to really get clear who your induction tutor is. And I think that has to be somebody who kind of, can get the decisions made and has some leverage kind of within school. For me, the thing that caught me by surprise a little bit is you do need a fair bit of information. For example, the personal email addresses of the ECTs if they haven't got a school one yet. You need teacher registration numbers, all sorts of information you need. So it is important, I think, to have that information in order. Otherwise, you're not quite ready to go. So in terms of knowing kind of the name, the email address, the TRN number, all those things, once you've got the information, it's super quick and really straightforward.
All right, so how long did you think it took you to actually complete the process, Alex?
With the DFE, I think it probably takes about 5 minutes per ECT, and that includes attaching the mentors as well. So as long as you've got the information and the names, I did it at school, so I could go in and out of the data systems for the information I needed, and then it is really straightforward.
Alex, you've just mentioned email addresses. So if we haven't got school email addresses sorted out for our new ECTs, personal addresses? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I use their personal email addresses and I let them know that so they don't miss out on any communications over the summer because their school email addresses are not live till September. Then in September, for my last year's cohort, we then updated the portal to school email addresses. You can edit the portal very, very easily. So for me, get them in it the best way you can and then edit it as you need to.
Great, thank you.
And it's the induction tutor that actually does all of that, isn't it, Alex? So yourself and obviously Steph as well. So you'll have gone through this process too, Steph. Any comments from you?
Yeah, just say that I can absolutely second that. To say it took a matter of minutes. There's some really clear guidance on the Exceed website that takes you straight to the DFE step-by-step guide. And it was even more or even easier for us this time because lots of the information just carried over from last year. So our induction lead stayed the same, our mentor stayed the same, and all of that information was pre-populated. So really quick, easy job.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so what we're going to go on to look at now, a little bit more around ECF-based training and also the roles and responsibilities, because there are key stakeholders involved in the early career teacher induction. So we're going to have an overview now of what those roles and responsibilities are.
There are 3 important roles you need to know about: an induction tutor, a mentor, and the early career teacher. The induction tutor oversees ECTs and mentors and makes sure the program is embedded successfully. The induction tutor should make sure ECTs are fully accessing an ECF-based training program, have the skill and knowledge to assess ECT's progress against the teacher's standards, carry out regular progress reviews and formal assessments,
mentor's role is to support early career teachers through their 2-year induction. Mentors should meet regularly with their ECTs to provide support and feedback, provide or arrange mentoring and coaching, take prompt action if ECTs are having difficulties, ECTs are entitled to a 2-year programme of ECF-based training, support from a dedicated mentor, a reduced timetable to engage with their training and mentor sessions, regular progress reviews and 2 formal assessments against the teacher's standards.
The roles are distinctly different. The mentor, the induction coordinator, and clearly the early career teacher. It'd be really nice to draw upon our panel again here to ask for your experience, having gone through. I know there are people on the call today that have gone through the programme already this year. Was it a tough decision in selecting and choosing your mentor and your induction coordinator? Steph?
Yeah, that's okay. So like Alex touched on before, it was really important for us that the induction lead was somebody who would be able to make sure that ECTs were able to access the programme fully, that they were receiving their reduced timetable. So we made the decision that I would be the induction lead in the first year as head of school, and then we're going to do the same thing next year. And then part of my role, like the children described, was about doing those progress reviews, ensuring that the ECT was receiving regular mentoring and was engaging fully with the programme, and just having that broader overview to make sure that everybody was engaging as they should be, and everybody was receiving the training and support that they're entitled to.
That's fabulous. Alex, can I ask you, in terms of mentors, was that sort of how was your sort of selection process in recruiting or appointing a mentor to an ECT, if you like?
The fundamental is nobody is forced to be a mentor, because I think that's when mentoring and coaching totally fails. Lucky that we're a big school, 120 staff, thereby we have a lot of experienced teachers who are happy to take on that role. Sometimes it's somebody who has subject lead responsibility. Sometimes though it's somebody who is just very experienced in the subject area and able to provide that induction, able to provide the coaching and the support. But it's about getting the right people in terms of their experience set for them to be mentors.
And also it's a really nice sort of progression for a mentor. It is a positive role to have. And Davina, actually, you are a mentor on the early career teacher programme. So it'd be wonderful to hear from your perspective, your experience this year.
Yeah, that's right. I completely agree that it's amazing professional development for the mentor, and makes sense to me what Alex was saying. Like, it's a brilliant opportunity for an experienced teacher to pass on their expertise and build a really amazing, lasting relationship with the ECT. The fact that it's a 2-year programme makes it even more of a joyful experience. I've just finished the first year with my current ECT, and we're about to sort of embark on recontracting for the 2nd year. And it's really exciting to see how much progress she's made within the first year, so let alone the 2nd year. So I think it's that idea of the separate responsibilities of the 2 roles that's really, really important. Our induction lead's been amazing at embedding the culture of professional development within the school and allowing me to facilitate my role as a mentor. It's nice as a mentor not to be involved in the assessment, so it's all about the instructional coaching and the progress that the ECT is making. I think it's so important, that idea that having an induction lead who's assessing formally the ECT has to be so separate to the work that's going on week by week with the mentor themselves.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Davina. That's really nice to hear from your sort of first-hand experience there. Another question I'd like to ask our panel is in terms of mentor, that protected time that the DfE speak about within the statutory guidance, because we do have, there are sort of workload issues here. Schools are very, very busy places. How have you managed to juggle and manage that? If anybody's sort of got any tips or sort of experiences to share, that would be wonderful.
I kind of present it as a non-negotiable to the timetabler. In terms of this time needs to be on the timetable and protected. So now it's kind of one of the first things that's looked at when the timetable is constructed. So it's getting in really early in terms of when you know your ECTs and when you know the mentors, to try and get that in place before timetables are written for us here.
And I think that's great if you're in a sort of a large secondary, but then we have the flip side of that where Chris is in a one-form entry school, and that could provide actually a lot more challenges when you've got sort of a smaller staff.
What I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to be the induction tutor and my deputy is going to be the mentor. So she'll have her management time anyway. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm sure we'll be able to work out timetabling, but it's good to hear that it needs to be protected so that we are doing everything we can to support the ECTs.
I wonder if as well, and there's something that our induction lead's been really amazing in relation to, and it's important perhaps to think about, is as the mentor, you really do need access to technology within the classroom so that you can observe live. So our induction leads looking at for the next year is buying a series of iPads that mentors can use, so that you've got a dedicated piece of technology that you can use to carry out your observations live. And you do need a laptop to sort of make it work in the classroom. It's just something to be aware of.
That's brilliant, Davina, because that segues beautifully into our next video, which is all about the Ambition curriculum, which is the early career teacher program, which we deliver. We are delivery partners for Ambition as a national provider. So we're going to hear a little bit about that curriculum now, and we'll come back to you, Davina, actually to build upon what you've just said there, if that's okay. So thank you.
If you access the DFE funded provider ECF-based training with Exceed Teaching School Hub, this is what you can expect. The program is split into 3 strands: behaviour, instruction and subject.
Each strand is split into 12 modules that are accessed over the 2-year induction period. These 3 strands cover all 8 areas of the early career framework. The curriculum is a twin development program for both ECTs and mentors. ECTs are expected to attend 3 full days conferences and 6 one-hour clinics. Each week, early career teachers will have to do 2 things: complete online self-study. This includes watching a video, reading an evidence summary, and completing a quiz. This will take about 45 minutes. Take part in instructional coaching.
Instructional coaching is the heart of the ECT program.
Evidence tells us that this is the best bet for improving classroom practice and changing habits that stick.
Mentors are expected to attend 2 full-day conferences and 3 one-hour clinics. This ensures that they are confident in implementing instructional coaching.
Mentors lead weekly instructional coaching sessions and provide ECTs with feedback supporting them to become great teachers.
Maybe I can start. I just think it's such an amazing programme, and it's been really wonderful to be a part of it. I feel like, obviously, I mentioned before that seeing the ECT grow on a weekly basis is absolutely amazing, because everything's delivered through the instructional coaching sessions into really bite-sized chunks. And the 3 strands really allow that progression through the year brilliantly, starting with behaviour, which is so important for an early careers teacher when you're coming into your classroom for the first time. And I think it comes back to that idea of building the knowledge, skills and working habits that you need to be a successful teacher. And it's really incredible seeing happening every week. But what's also brilliant is building my own and developing my own professional knowledge and professional development as well, because Ambition provide lots of excellent self-study modules for the mentors alongside the ECTs.
So how have you found implementing instructional coaching, Davina? It'd be nice to hear from other colleagues as well, because this will be new for you in your school, Chris, next year, that actually that weekly instructional coaching is taking place, and there is training and support provided, but again, very conscious and aware of from an ECF lead perspective, this is new across the landscape and is going to take time to embed and change culture. So it'd be really nice to hear, see you nodding there, Alex, of what the experience has been in your setting so far of implementing this change.
It has been a massive change for our mentors to move into coaching as opposed to mentoring. I think it's been really positive, and the training has been there, certainly, and the support's been there throughout the programme in terms of the support offered to mentors in terms of their coaching. But it has been a very big step, and whilst I think we're getting there, I think we're still on the journey to be able to do that. But I do truly believe the ECTs are getting a better kind of more directed provision through this programme than beforehand, where it would be meetings and more of a kind of talk about what was going on. This has a formality and a structure, which I think is really beneficial.
Yeah, I think that I completely agree with you, Alex, about like the structure of the meetings and also the way it's action focused. So in the instructional coaching sessions, again, like you were saying, it's very, very different to perhaps what mentors are used to having done in the past. But because it's deliberate practice and role playing and working through situations that you will find happening in the classroom, it enables you to practice and develop the script that you need to combat difficult classroom experiences or different classroom experiences. And at our school, it's really interesting because we're actually so into the whole instructional coaching that we're embedding it across our like professional development for other teachers as well. So it's moved from the mentor programme as part of the ECF into our whole school CPD programme as well, which is quite exciting.
That's amazing, isn't it? And the fact that it's having sort of that sort of wider reach, that's fantastic, and will obviously impact on the culture of learning in your school. That's great. Okay, so we're finally going to go move on to our final video now, which is all around implementation and how we're going to hear from an induction tutor, an ECT and a mentor, how they have successfully implemented the programme this year. So we'll just get ready to share that video now.
I have enjoyed my first year as an ECT because the early career framework has enabled me to become a confident teacher. The regular observations are specific to my learning that week and are effective because they are broken down into small, manageable steps. The prompt feedback afterwards creates an open conversation between me and my mentor where we discuss my observations and next steps, which I find useful. The professional reviews also provide an opportunity for me to demonstrate all the progress I have made so far.
As a mentor, I have found the online resources within the programme to be useful at guiding me through the early career framework. Engaging with these materials has meant that each week I have had a focus during my observation and has enabled the coaching sessions to be specific to the area the ECT is working on. The early career framework has also provided opportunities for improving my own practice and has improved our teaching practice across school. The up-to-date research, alongside training materials and small manageable steps, has resulted in changes to long-term practice. As a result of this, our ECTs have made excellent progress and continue to develop as reflective practitioners.
The Early Careers Framework-based training at Bowling Park has given our ECTs a higher quality of very precise professional development that is evidence-informed. The fact that it is then delivered by class-based mentors through instructional coaching has been hugely effective. The training opportunities for mentors have been invaluable in ensuring our mentors have the skills and confidence to fulfil their role. Through coaching activities, mentors have been set tailored targets that allow them to further improve. Engaging with the ECT programme has provided us with a platform to develop good teachers into great teachers, but also good mentors into excellent mentors. We are all getting better together.
Okay, so we heard there from our sort of three stakeholders, successful implementation, which is really lovely to hear how well it's gone for people this year. It'd be nice to hear from colleagues in the room or answer any questions that you might have. What has supported successful implementation in your settings this year? And did anything that that we heard there in the video resonate with you?
Yes, certainly for me, it really resonates in terms of the mentor saying how she's had the opportunity to develop her own practice and alongside that of the ECT. I think, like I said before, really important for the programme having been embedded successfully for us is having access to technology in the classroom to carry out those, as from a mentor's perspective, to carry out those really directed 10-15 minute observations on a weekly basis. And that's certainly something that I think, and I'm sure Alex and Steph will agree, like induction leads have to make sure is available for mentors because instructional coaching is at the heart of the programme.
And I think for us as well, the way that the programme is structured is very granular in its approach. So it is very much about having those small manageable steps for ECTs to work for. So our ECTs and mentors have found that a really effective way of bringing about that long-lasting sustainable change.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really seeing the progress with our ECTs as induction tutor, I watch them at the end of each term, and I can really see a difference. I'm doing my end of year observations now to do the progress report against teach standards. I can really see the difference between when I watch the ECTs at the end of term 1 and term 2 versus where the ECTs are now. And I can actually sometimes see the instructional coaching literally playing out in front of me in the classroom.
So this can reduce workload, not increase it. So I think if we have a streamlined approach whereby when these 15-minute observations are taking place, that there is a device, whether it's a laptop or an iPad, that it's sort of kept paperless where possible, because the programme is set up for you with action steps for you to select and success criteria to match them against. So it shouldn't be a duplicate exercise after an observation. So I think that's a really important key message that I know I repeat often to mentors. So thank you for raising that, Davina. Chris, do you have any questions? Because obviously this is all new to you and you're going to be having ECTs in your setting next year.
No questions, just to say thank you. There's some great top tips there, going back to when Alex said about setting up the ECTs and using their personal email account, which is a really good idea to make sure that they don't miss any information over the summer holidays. And then Davina, using the tech, we've got iPads in school, so we can use our iPads to do those quick observations. Steph with the small steps, and generally it sounds really positive. Look, it's not just the ECTs who are gaining from progressing their career in the very early stages, but the mentor and myself to gain greater insight into instructional coaching. And then, as Davina said, sharing it out across the rest of the team. So it really does sound a very positive and exciting process. Let's hope the setup isn't very stressful. I'm sure it isn't.
Well, colleagues have gone through that process and have assured us it's a 5-minute job. But yeah, the key is implementation. As with anything, it's implementation at a local level in your school. So can I say a big thank you to everybody for joining us? That's been absolutely fabulous to share your knowledge and your experience. So thank you.
Thank you.